right now. You know, it's very touching for me. He's 42 years old, and he's been a rock for me. And just to see him go through that, it actually helps me to deal with anything. You know, there's nothing in this life that you can't overcome. And I'm just one of those people. I've always lived my life. It's not okay just to be okay. I'm always going to push hard, push forward. You know, the foundation that I got from Kentucky State University propelled me to get master's degrees and currently working on my doctoral degree. So there's some things that you learn here at the school that stand with you over time. It just works for me. You know, I love my university. As Felicia said, I should have been a lot more actively involved. And when I see this right here, it's very humbling. You know, I'm always on my son's back. I'm always on his back all the time. But great people do great things. And when you work your butt off to try and achieve some things in life, you know, you're attesting to the things that you've worked with your hard work. But Randy, I appreciated the opportunity. President Burse, I thank you as well. And I'm just humbled. Thank you so much.
And it reads, Marvin L. Ham, 1991-1995, football, member of the Black College All-American team as a defensive back in 1994, selected to the HBCU sports academic team in 1993 and 1994, member of the KSU team that led the nation with 31 interceptions in 1994, member of the NFL Carolina Panthers in 1996 and 1997, Marvin L. Ham. Ladies and gentlemen, what you don't realize is that all these honorees that you see in front of you, they were selected by a committee, but brought here by their peers. This is the first class that was voted on by K Club members. I'm asking all of you, we need you to bring in nominees. We need to be K Club members, pay your dues, get these ballots, and help select the next 6 Hall of Famers from 2016. And our next honoree, they call him Buck.
Yes.
Man was so fast, he slid across the basin. Now, he's not from Detroit. But everybody knows Detroit and Chicago are the same. If you come from Detroit, Chicago, or Cleveland, they think we all cousins anyway. Cedric, come on up here.
Well, the day has come. First of all, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for being here.
Amen.
President Burse of this fine institution that is Kentucky State University. To the athletic department, to Randy Williams and the K Club for putting on this event. Alumni, friends, honorees, and my family. It is with great joy, pleasure, humbleness, and respect that I accept this esteemed honor. It is one that I will cherish forever and ever. Attending this school and playing baseball at Kentucky State University was truly one of the most rewarding accomplishments. And today, tonight, this moment truly made it all worthwhile to come to KSU. Now, my story, which I'd like to share with you for a few minutes this evening, as to how I wound up here. As a young lad living on the west side of Chicago, I was the youngest of 10 children, my mother's 7th son, or be the lucky one. We were apartment dwellers and were not able to afford a home, but life was still good. Each day, if the weather cooperated, I was looking forward to going outside to play baseball. And man, when it rained, I was really bummed out. we had a gravel play lot across the street from the house where 16-inch softball was king. We didn't have a little league field close to us that we could travel to. So we basically played a lot of 16-inch softball and strike them out against the wall and stuff like that. But my older brothers, Carl, Joe, and Gino, and Joe is here tonight, they dominated hitting the balls over the fence, or pulling the fence as they called it back then. And I was impressed as a young lad during that time. So when I got to be like 13 or 14, and they were older, married and all that stuff, I started becoming king of the Marcy Center field, knocking the ball over the fence. But we weren't able to play baseball even in the lot because a lot of guys couldn't afford gloves, so that's what we did. But once I got to high school, I tried out and made varsity as a freshman. It was a struggle at times because some of the guys on the other team were basketball players. It was like 6'6", 6'7", hitting balls hard. I persevered. I struggled a little bit, but I persevered, and I kept my focus. So by the time I was a senior in high school, we made an accomplishment that was unheard of at the time. We made the playoffs. But when we got to the playoffs, we played this team that was like the team. We played Lane Tech, team is at home. We lost 17-0, right? So the pitcher had a no-hitter going into the last inning with 2 outs, and I come up to bat. I had a ball off the pitcher to short, and I beat it out for the only hit. You'd have thought my coaches thought we won a championship. They were so happy, you know? But we lost 17-0. But in any event, as I was preparing to come to Kentucky State, to college, I was looking big. I was looking at Arizona State. I was looking at them. They were looking at me. Southern Cal, Florida State. And ironically, I got accepted at Arizona State. But then reality hit. No scholarships, long distance from home, no money. Then I decided to go into the school counselor's office, Miss James. She showed me this yellow catalog, Kentucky State University. And my interest peaked. I hadn't even considered an HBCU. But I had my high school coach send some letters to coach here. I didn't know the coach's name, but I just told him to send it to the baseball coach. And by the time I graduated, I didn't get a response from the coach here. I decided to just go anyway. So I had confidence I could make it if given the opportunity, right? So I got accepted, did the financial aid thing, left my girlfriend crying at the Greyhound bus station. Hey, had to go. Not knowing what to expect, I met my roommate on the Greyhound bus named Zachary Williams. He was a computer science major. That was real new in 1972. So when we arrived to the Greyhound bus station in Frankfurt, we took a cab to campus. And we were housed at Atwood Hall. After getting checked in, I began to explore the campus, you know. Kind of like what I saw. Some of what you did. You know? And I stumbled upon the guy and said, hey, you know where the baseball coach to be located? He said, yeah, go to the Bell Gymnasium. So the next day I registered at Hume Hall across the street here. Went to Bell Gymnasium, coach was not there. So I got a chance to check out the gym. Saw the banners for the basketball championships. Said, man, look at this. You know? And I sat on the steps of the gym, and this white Eldorado pulls up. Coach Oliver. So I said to him, I say, yes, do you know when there's going to be baseball tryouts? And if you know Coach Oliver, he didn't have no shame in talking to you like he wanted to talk to you. And it's the S word, okay? He said, S, son, you ain't even told me your name and gonna ask me about baseball practice. I said, oh God. I thought, did I make the right decision or not? Anyway, I got to the field, he told me where it was. First of all, he said, well, you must be the guy that Coach wrote them letters about. I said, yeah, even though I didn't tell him, he didn't respond, but anyway. I got to the field, there was like 20 guys on the field, about 15 of them from Detroit. And they talented now, it wasn't no slouches. So, sprinkle a few local guys and some guys from other areas. But when I got my turn to take batting practice, by the time I hit the second or third ball, Coach Oliver was over there in the dugout. He went, I knew then I had it. Okay? So I made the team, but I had to fight for a spot because I was a new kid on the block and had guys in place, And as time moved on, I was fortunate to become the starting center fielder at Kentucky State University. Me and Coach Oliver had what I would call, at the time, and it gravitated through the next 4 years, a cordial relationship early on, because he recruited these guys from New York. Who the heck am I? You know? So, I walked on, made the team, and for some reason my work study's first assignment was assisting the basketball team. That's quite impressive to me. Here got this championship team, I'm helping out. And where else can you go where you got coaches with names of Plug, Fat Boy, Red Top, Yak, you know? These kind of coaches you got in, they didn't know it, but the student athletes knew that's what they called them behind their back. You know? And Coach Mitchell, I was at the practice once and he got into it with, if you remember Cecil Relford, he was a monster basketball, power forward center. And Coach Mitchell did not want anybody shooting long jump shots, not the big men anyway. And he said, boy, don't you put that ball up there. You know how you talk. And after practice, I was giving out the bologna sandwiches, the oranges, and the orange juice. Why I didn't give Cecil his in time. Cecil choked me, and that's the last time I went to practice. So I told Coach Oliver, I got another assignment for work study. I'm not going through this anymore. But in any event, moving forward, moving along, I just want to say that as we began playing ball and traveling throughout the state, the Georgia states, I was quite impressed with the scenery and the smell of the distilleries around here. But I kept looking for bluegrass. I'm like, bluegrass? Where is it? Guys be messing with me talking about, oh, it's blue. Can't you tell? I said, no, it's all green to me. It's kind of yellow. But I was also impressed with the talent of our team. The second semester of my sophomore year, we got even more guys from Detroit. And I mean, things were looking up. I mean, it was like we had a whip. We were winning. We was playing teams like Louisville and Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, Northern Kentucky, Bellarmine, and playing pretty good. By the time I was a senior, we were whooping all of them, you know? And so, Coach Oliver also liked us to look good. And by my junior year, I think we had the prettiest green uniforms ever made. I'm telling you. He had us looking good, but no beards and no hair on your face, son. No, you couldn't have that on your face. You know, at that age, we were getting a little hair on our face and stuff like that. Coach Oliver said, no hair on your face, son, and I respect that. But he gave us strong character, and if you got in trouble with Coach Oliver, you're going to run bleachers, you're going to run around the field all day long. That's just the way it was. But I was never in better shape than I was when I was at Kentucky State University. I was in great shape.